and when we need the bug barometer, we call you. Dr. Jim Fredericks, thank you so much. Fascinating subject, how the weather now is impacting what we can expect from bugs in the fall.
It is interesting. We're going to let you know what you can expect as far as the tropics go coming up.
I was out for a bike ride. I didn't think I'd have a heart attack, but I did. I'm Mike. I'm very much alive. Now my doctor recommends a Bayer aspirin regimen to help prevent another heart attack.
Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen.
AT&T and DirecTV are now one, which means you can watch movies while you're on the move, sitcoms while you sit on those, and even Fargo in Fargo. Binge while you lose weight, and enjoy a good cliffhanger while you hang from a why am I yelling. The revolution will not only be televised, the revolution will be mobilized. Introducing the all-in-one plan, only from DirecTV and AT&T.
What's that? Oh, wow. Hello, humans. Focus on me.
Focus on the guard. Don't tell anyone what you've seen in here.
Have you seen what's in there? They have
Intel. Experience what's inside.
Laundry can wreak havoc on our clothes, ruining them forever. Sweaters stretch into muumuus, and pilled cardigans become pets. But it's not you, it's the laundry. Protect your clothes from stretching, fading, and fuzz with Downy Fabric Conditioner. It not only softens and freshens, it helps protect clothes from the damage of the wash. So your favorite clothes stay your favorite clothes. Downy Fabric Conditioner. Wash in the wow.
Well, sir, after some serious consideration, I'd like to put in my 15-year notice.
You're quitting?
Technically retiring, sir. With a little help from my State Farm agent, I plan to retire in 15 years.
Wow, you're totally blindsiding me here. Who's going to manage your accounts? This is a devastating blow I was not prepared for.
Well, I'm going to finish packing my things. 15 years will really sneak up on you.
Jennifer will do your exit interview, and Adam made you a cake.
Red velvet.
Oh, thank you.
I made this.
Take charge of your retirement. Talk to a State Farm agent today. Weekdays on AMHQ.
I want to make sure everybody can get an idea of what's happening here. Let's talk about that. Let's lift the base of this. You're about to see something you have never seen on television.
I was going to the library to do my homework. It was a little bit of a walk to get to the bus stop. I had to wait in line to use the computer. It took a lot of juggling to keep it all together.
What's possible when you have high-speed internet at home? The library never closes.
Makes it so much better to do homework when you're at home.
Internet Essentials from Comcast, helping to bridge the digital divide.
Take the roar out of snore. Yet another innovation only at a Sleep Number store.
.com.
Currently in our area, 86 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms possible. High 86. Chance of rain 30%. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 75. Chance of rain 40%. Monday, partly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 88. Here's our 7-day outlook.
It's a great morning in Sunny Isles, Miami. You're looking live there on the left. You got a beautiful looking Las Vegas there on the right. Both of these great cities are looking to pick up some rainfall here with a...
It's on the right.
Did I say it? What did I say?
You said what it says.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, my gosh. See, I just read the words.
But it says Las. We have a little mix-up.
Yes, LAX, Los Angeles. But both of those areas, even Las Vegas, why not? I'll throw it in there. Looking for...
It's on the left?
Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. I'll just start it all over, let you take it away. Tropical update. I got that right.
Right. Well, the main thing is we want to talk about Florida and we want to talk about the Southwest because we have the potential for some tropical moisture getting into these areas. We're going to start off right now with Tropical Storm Ida, and we're way out here in the Atlantic, and in the near term there is the possibility that this is going to move up to the northeast, and then it's possible it's just going to kind of hang around. That's why this called the cone doesn't look like it. It looks more like, Maria, you say a red balloon?
Yes, a thought bubble.
The thought bubble of uncertainty for this.
Go?
Where is this going to go? And that's really exactly what's going on here with this tropical storm. And so we look now at another area to watch. Now, still watching it, but the chances this develops are low. It's actually gone down just to 10% in the coming days here. However, what is happening here is there is a broad area of circulation. And when you look at the visible satellite, so you look at where the clouds are right now, you can see just a little bit of a spin right here. And we can put the lines on to show you the flow of the atmosphere and how that's going to interact with the land and increase the chance for some rip currents in some areas. As we look here from Daytona down to West Palm, you're in moderate risk. Also in the Panhandle. In fact, let's look at Daytona right now. Live look, Earth Cam view, 84 degrees. And you didn't know you can drive on Daytona Beach. You can see the kind of little pathway right here. People park their cars, but more importantly, here you look and you can see a little bit more surf on this stretch of the east coast of Florida. So watch out for that. Watch out for rip currents. And through the rest of the day, it's going to be warm. It's going to be beach weather for sure. Plenty of sunshine here. However, we have this, again, that broad area of circulation with to the south with some showers expected here in South Florida. So just be on alert that Miami later on today and tonight there could still be some showers hanging around that could pick up and kind of linger for a bit. Now, here we are on the Pacific side of things here. Invest 91E. This is important for the Southwest United States because some of this moisture is going to be moving in. And there is a better chance for development in the coming days than what we're seeing in the Atlantic. And you can see here close to Baja California, but more importantly, getting into California here in the United States, going to see some of these, the moisture getting in, showers and thunderstorms a possibility. Here's Hawaii. Here's another area that does need we need to pay attention to. 30% chance, Maria, of development in the coming days.
All right, so coming up on Weekend Recharge, the most beautiful pictures of the weather, putting the wow in weather after the break.
Lowe's presents How to Be Good at Math.
How much money do you think we saved today?
A lot.
Come into Lowe's now and get 15% off select Filtrete 3M filters when you buy 4 or more of the same size.
Are you a man over 40 and feeling tired, losing muscle, have less romantic drive? Then you need Ageless Male, with an ingredient clinically shown to increase free testosterone levels. Ageless Male is now available at these fine retailers.
Turning in the grain again, the bells begin to chime. There's no turning back.
You can pass down a Subaru Forester. She's all yours. But you get to keep the memories.
Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
While others pre-form and pre-cook, Boston Market promises to make food good. Like our Parmesan Tuscan rotisserie chicken, made with Italian spices. Back for a limited time. Boston Market. All good.
Bridgestone's new Drive Guard tires are engineered to take a puncture and go up to 50 miles.
We can drive 50 miles on a flat, and you have an app that makes nails pop up?
Yep.
We could rule the world. But I've got carpool at 3, though, so
that time.
We could, mess with the world.
Mary gets her bounce on. Wow, Mary is like every mom from the neighborhood here. Look at them, all judgy. See, you are looking good. Using Bounce Dryer Sheets is paying off. Your clothes have fewer wrinkles, and Static Cling ain't bringing you down. Oh, and look, it's It's that Miss Brooke thinks she's all that in a bag of chips. Good thing you brought your A game. Your A game. Bounce, the 4-in-1 dryer sheet. Get your bounce on.
What's up with this weather, huh?
Today's weather? Well, I'd get things done this morning because we've got some big changes rolling through this afternoon. Jim Cantori has that.
Sam, this is fascinating. Rapidly rising warm, moist air creating this huge cumulonimbus cloud. Oftentimes, the results can be electrifying. Back to you, Sam.
Great job, Jim. That should get you started on your day. So now back to you.
Back to me.
Sam Champion on the Weather Channel. Weather precise.
5 minutes for the top of the hour now to put the wow in weather, the wonder of weather, and some of the most spectacular pictures that we've received over the last few days. Amazing and also unfortunate here.
Let's start off, though, with a look at some of the unfortunate scenes out of Chile after the earthquake and tsunami. Boats where they're not supposed to be. That's, you know, first thing you can see there.
And you see not only the destruction, but the evidence of the power of water. I mean, look at this this view. This is just breathtakingly painful to look at. It's just devastating.
Yeah, you can see just the absolute mess. Even if you didn't know what it looked like before, you can just tell it doesn't look right.
Right.
You know?
So some of those pictures obviously making big news this past week. Stateside, we also had some pretty incredible weather, and that included big thunderstorms. Chicago, look at this shot. Always impressive to see that lightning with the big Willis Tower.
Does it feel like the lightning was going up there?
It looked, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it spreading out?
Like reaching up there.
Yeah. So here's a look at Chicago. Also, I see some storms in the distance. Some of that rain coming down on the right. You see how the white goes all the way down to the bottom. And then corn kind of bent over.
Right. You did, this does sort of reminiscent of crop circles and, you know, but this is storm related, kind of plowing down some of those cornfields.
And then this is a cool shot, shelf cloud.
Yeah.
Put some books
Look
up
at the
there.
striation. Beautiful. All right. Hashtag it's amazing out there. Weather Geeks tackles one of weather's hottest topics on today and what's in store for the United States this winter.
Dr. Marshall Shepard is joined by veteran long-range forecaster Joe Bastardi.
The areas from Texas to the mid-Atlantic states and into southern New England, we're looking at a tough winter again this year. I don't think it's as cold. What I fear, though, you got to watch where that ridge in western Canada winds up, because you see the U.S. generated miles trying to put it over eastern Canada. If it winds up in western Canada, cold air will find a way to win the day.
This is what it looks like when real people playing fantasy football win $1 million at DraftKings.com, the one-week fantasy sports destination. Now get your share of $10 million. Just pick your sport, pick your players, and pick up your cash. Play with promo code FOOTBALL and get free entry in our Millionaire Maker event this Sunday. $10 million up for grabs. Welcome to the big time. Get free entry at DraftKings.com now.
Currently in our area, 87 degrees, under partly cloudy skies. Today, partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms possible. High 86. Chance of rain 30%. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 75. Chance of rain 40%. Monday, partly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 88. Here's our 7-day outlook.
And welcome to Weather Geeks. I am sitting here at the desk with Joe Bastardi, Chief Meteorologist at AccuWeather.
That's all right.
Weather Bell Analytics. But I know your legacy at AccuWeather well. They said it would never happen that Joe and I would be on the same show talking weather and maybe even a little climate in the second show. But in this first show, Joe, I just want to, first thank you for joining us.
Well, it's an honor coming down here and being here. But I was very concerned, the opening of the show, that you would quiz me on the equations that were up there, because I don't remember any of that stuff. And there people argue that I didn't know any of that stuff when I was in college.
Well, what I do want to quiz you on, because you're known as one of the best weather forecasters out there. What's sort of your philosophy, your methodology on weather forecasting generally?
Well, we, I'm blessed that I work with Joe DeLeo, who's a little bit older than me, and Tom Downs. Yeah. And we have a method called independent consensus.
Okay.
Now, in general, a lot of people just get together, argue something out, and come up with an answer. Yeah. What we do is we say, okay, we all have our certain ideas on what is the strongest driver or strongest forcing. Let's see where we intersect independently. So, for instance, let's say the summer forecast. I say, guys, give me your 5 best analogs. I put my 5 best in, and then we weight them.
Okay, let me stop you there before and let you continue on. But explain to our viewers, because you and I know what they are, but what do you mean by an analog?
We try to find, it takes meticulous work, groundwork, drudgery, okay, ditch digging, I call it, to come up with what does the pattern look like closest to this from previous years.
So in other words, you're looking back at a lot of historical data, looking for sort of similar analog patterns that then may sort of suggest what current weather situations will be like.
And antilogs.
Okay, and what's the analog?
The antilog is you look at things that are exactly opposite and bring them in.
Okay.
So you will come up, let's say we come up with the top 5. All right. We'll rate the first, we'll give the first one 5 points, and the 5th one 1 point. Okay. And all these will spread out, and there'll be 2 or 3 or maybe 4 of them that will intersect. Okay. Some of them intersect all 3 times. They will become the strongest analog. Then you go to the modeling.
So this is kind of like, I know you're a big sports guy, a big wrestler. This is kind of like scouting out a pitcher in baseball, looking at their tendencies a little bit, sort of what they're doing, and then sort of coming up with a sort of a forecast.
That's correct. Yeah. And it's also based, Joe DeLeo, Bastardi, this old world ethic that my father and my mother instilled you. Where you stand today is based on what you did yesterday to reach for tomorrow.
Okay.
And the computer models are reaching for tomorrow. So they're tools we use just like the others. So we try to blend them together and see how they work. But it takes a lot of work, like when you come up with a winter forecast.
Yes.
It's not something to go, oh, let's just predict a cold, snowy winter. Because, and what we do is you predict cold and snowy winters and they don't occur, all right? Let's imagine the last 2 winters were warm.
Right.
You probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to me right now.
Well, but I want to kind of pick up, because you're using analog and analog forecasting strategies and the sort of consensus method you talked about. But I mean, Weather Bell is very much known for its sort of use of and prowess with the models as well.
Yeah.
And I think, and I may be a bit off base, please correct me if I am, but I think particularly you're known for your work with the European model and some of the other models.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the relative importance of models and perhaps even their over-reliance that some of our fans of weather out there may do with weather models.
Right. Well, everybody gets in love with the models.
Yes.
And,
model fever.
And it's... You have to try to figure out model biases and tendencies.
Right.
For instance, we believe that the NCEP-based models do a better job a lot of times than the Rockies.
NCEP is the National Center for Environmental Prediction out there, NOAA. Yep.
And let's say we're watching the Europeans trying to stick a trough in the western part of the United States for winter, like last year was trying to stick it back there in the west. Right. You had a big ridge over western Canada. One of them don't make sense. Right. So what happens is a lot of times the European, I notice, is that I think the feedback of cold air, because the Rockies are up high, it starts lifting that cold air, feeds back and tries to keep the trough back there. Then all of a sudden, especially the operational model, for some of you folks who watch the operational model, you'll say, oh my gosh, and all of a sudden, bang, the trough's in the east. Where did that come from? And then when it does that, it likes to overdo it, right? The NCEP models, it's been my observation over the years, they can't handle the heat. That's what I believe.
Okay, so you say that, and clearly all models, because of the different physics and the different assumptions, different assimilation schemes have different biases.
Yeah.
But Do you use the GFS or the Canadian model? I mean, are they going into your thinking at all?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But we will 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 those also.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
so you've got a little
definitely.
waiting. You're waiting.
What do I believe is best? I believe, for instance, I don't know if the JAMSTEC model. It's a low latitude research. They do a lot of work with the Indian Ocean.
Whose model is this?
This comes out of the Far East. It's called JAMSTEC. It's an El Nino. They're great with the El Nino.
Yes.
That's what they do. The Indian Ocean dipole and the El Nino. So we watched that model in years that we think the El Nino's coming on. It nailed 9-10, so we're watching it this year. In fact, every 3 hours I'm going on the site to see if it's coming in.
And speaking of which, I mean, I know that teleconnections are, and I want you to, because again, some viewers out there love weather but may not understand some of the jargon we're using. So teleconnections, INSO cycles and whatnot are big in your forecast methodology. What is a teleconnection, and then how do you use these?
Well, basically, if something's going on one place, you look for similar or reaction in another place.
Absolutely,
okay?
Sure.
But the interesting thing about
we're seeing with this year's El Nino.
Yes, that's right. That's right. But the interesting thing about it, first is let's look at a recurving typhoon.
Yes.
Okay. That all started back in the that started in the 40s and 50s. World War II forecasters, when they look at typhoons, they say, well, this one took off to the northeast. It was cool in the States 6 to 10 days later. So they started observing that type of thing. Why? Because it meant the ridge was in a certain place in the Pacific. When they went west through the Philippines, a ridge would develop over the central and eastern part of the United States. You'd have a heat wave, right? So they noticed that type of thing. The tricky thing is, though, Dr. Shepard, is at one time of the year, it'll mean one thing. At another time of the year, it'll mean the other. For instance, let's take the Madden-Julian oscillation. If you ever go and look...
Okay, you just mentioned the MJO. Tell us, you got about 30 seconds. Give us the MJO, and then we'll pick up on the conversation after that.
Madden-Julian oscillation is very important because it tells me what's going on as far as the pressures in the tropics, which, of course, will feed back into the westerlies eventually. But what happens is, at one time of the year, it will lead to, like phase 8, for instance, will lead to a cool pattern in July and August. It will lead to a warm pattern, phase 8, in September and October, and then it will be cold again in the winter.
Okay, and hold that point. We're going to pick up on all of this. We've got a lot more with Joe Bastardi. Atlantic hurricane season has been a bit quiet over the last several months, but Joe says we might not want to take our eye off it just yet. We'll talk about that next, but first, our Geek of the Week.
This week's Geek of the Week is Brian McNulty, Senior Research Associate at the University of Miami's Rosenstiel School of Marine and Atmospheric Science, otherwise known as Rasmus. Yes. Brian is also a blogger for Washington Post's Capital Weather Gang, and when he's not tracking the tropics or staring at mesovortices in the eye wall of a hurricane, he's playing in the dirt, gardening year-round in South Florida. Congratulations to Brian McNulty, our Geek of the Week.
Before we discovered Fingerhut.com, my budget watched me like a hawk. But now, thanks to Fingerhut.com, we can shop with low monthly payments on over 275,000 items and growing from brands like Samsung, Rachel Ray, and Keurig. Go to Fingerhut.com and get the credit you deserve today. Fingerhut. Oh, I bet it's the kids' new Xbox. Yeah, you get that.
A witness when you set the world in motion. The Ram ProMaster van, and introducing the all-new Ram ProMaster City, purpose-built to help you run the town. Ram.
I don't know what that was. It felt huge. Don't move, man.
Currently in our area, 87 degrees, under partly cloudy skies. Today, partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms possible. High 86. Chance of rain 30%. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 75. Chance of rain 40%. Monday, partly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 88. Here's our 7-day outlook.
This kind of weather, all bets are off.
All we need to sell Strongbow Hard Cider is ice. So sorry, Sir Patrick. You're fired.
Fired?
Yeah, fired.
How dare...
Strongbow!
Let's tap into new floors in a new way. Step up the savings and get moving. Yeah, like that. Let's do this. Hand scraped Saratoga Hickory Lemon is just 99 cents per square foot at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Hello? It's Dr. Moreno's office. Can you come in to talk about your biopsy results and bring someone with you?
Sign up for the walk and raise money so no one has to walk alone.
10 years ago, we were united by the tragedies of Hurricanes Katrina and Rita. Today, we are united by hope. Citgo helped those in need then, and in the decades since, we've heightened our social responsibility efforts to further improve people's lives. Since 2014, to commemorate the hurricanes that brought us together, Citgo has pledged nearly $2 million to continue restoration along the Gulf Coast. Visit CitgoCaringForOurCoast.com. Citgo, fueling good.
And we're back with Joe Bastardi of WeatherBell Analytics, and we were talking about INSO and teleconnection patterns. Complete your thought on what you were saying.
Well,
there.
I think you have to look at the total picture. And there's no magic bullet. You know, it's interesting, and if you look at Aristotle, Aquinas, the search for the unmoved mover.
First philosophers ever mentioned on weather.
Yeah, well, the search for the unmoved mover is the search for the good Lord above, and that's how they looked at it. Well, in the weather, what's the unmoved mover? What is starting all this? And I believe it's the totality of the system to be able to see how things are reacting. Now, you know these IQ tests they give, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Which, everyone's. And my son actually outscored me in 10 minutes or
something. By the way, your son's going to study meteorology at Penn State.
He's already up at Penn State. I want to make sure I don't dig any holes for him to fall into. But what happens is when you start looking at that type of thing with what is driving the entire system, you will find that you have to get the total picture.
Sure.
So it's, for instance, we have this kind of El Nino. It means it's going to be warm. No, you can't broad brush the El Nino because the players around it. Let's use a football analogy. Great back comes on the field, but he has me blocking for him. He's not going anywhere. If he has someone that's great blocking, so it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, it's around. I tell people that all the time. Well, I've had people contact me. It's like, we're in an El Nino. Aren't we supposed to have this kind of weather? With there's variability around the signal.
Yeah.
Now, you said that even though this hurricane season in Atlantic has been a little bit quiet, it's been quite active in the Western Pacific and in the Pacific. But in terms of the Atlantic, though, you say you are worried about it maybe boiling. There's talk by Phil Klotzba and others about us entering a quiet period. But what is your thought on the rest of the hurricane season this year and maybe 1 to 2 years out?
Well, I think this year, first of all, we developed 2 storms in close at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
That's like 2012, where we had a couple storms hit early, tropical storms, and then, of course, we had Sandy.
Sure.
The problem you have this year is you have so much extremely warm water north of 25 north, and our forecast, a preseason forecast, had in-close development as the big problem this year. And when you look at a lot of the storms that have impacted the eastern seaboard, for instance, some of them develop in people's backyards. And the current pattern we're going into with a lot of ridging going across eastern Canada so that easterly winds can get down in the tropics, pile air up off the South Atlantic coast. And the other thing is to think with the models. The European, for instance, only twice has it blown up a tropical cyclone.
Right.
The system in the Western Gulf that is going inland, it didn't turn off to the northeast, and was trying to do it with Erica a couple of times.
Right.
The reason why is it's seeing that area north of 25 north as a potential problem area. Even today, if you look at what it's doing with, 95L out there in the eastern Atlantic.
Right, and we're taping this earlier in the week.
Right,
so,
it develops it further north.
Right.
So my worry is you keep driving big highs across the north, And you're sitting there with this water that's, you know, up to 3 feet
it's
above
certainly
normal.
ample for
It's a big problem. The other thing is, and Dr. Ryan Maui brought this up.
Yep.
He brought up the other day that the El Nino signal in the Atlantic right now has almost disappeared. And I went and researched what he said. The pressures have been rising across northwest South America. Now, what does that mean? Well, when the pressures are very low over northwest South America, the easterlies come roaring through.
Sure.
You see these things just go into the Caribbean and die. Because they're rising there and rising to the north, up across eastern Canada, right over that warmer water, it leads to a natural area of lower pressure. You're starting to see that on the model.
Okay, so what you're suggesting, I'm going to wrap it up and we'll come back and talk about some other things, but you're suggesting that, you know, because of this thing that Ryan noticed, we could see a possibility, because of these warm sea surface temperatures, of development in the latter part of the post-peak season.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'll pick up on that a bit more when we come back. But when we come back from the break, we're going to get Joe's winter forecast.
When you're living with diabetes, steady is exciting. Only Glucerna has Carb Steady, clinically proven to help minimize blood sugar spikes, so you stay steady ahead.
Lease the 2015 RC350 for $429 a month for 36 months. See your Lexus dealer.
I'm the proud dad of 3 messy kids. They get stains like you wouldn't believe.
This Tide Ultra Stain Release and Zap Cap helps me get out pretty much any stain.
Can I help?
Aww.
Helps remove 99% of everyday stains. Tide, America's #1 detergent.
Can a protein originally found in a jellyfish improve your memory? Our scientists say yes. Researchers have discovered a protein that actually supports healthier brain function. It's the breakthrough in a supplement called Prevagen. As we age, we lose proteins that support our brain. Prevagen supplements these proteins and has been clinically shown to improve memory. It's safe and effective. For support of healthier brain function, a sharper mind, and clearer thinking, try Prevagen for yourself today.
All we need to sell Strongbow Hard Cider is ice. So sorry, Sir Patrick. You're fired.
Fired?
Yeah, fired.
How dare...
Strongbow!
Trick or treat! Thank you!
Average work pants versus a grab-happy grizzly. Duluth Fire Hose work pants versus a grab-happy grizzly. Duluth Trading Fire Hose work pants. Tougher than a grizzly's grope. Get a pair. Only at DuluthTrading.com.
Where you get your weather matters.
This is a large and dangerous tornado.
Real local.
We are live in Oklahoma.
Real accurate.
This one's going to have some precipitation with it.
Real experts.
Wow, that's the leading edge of the thunderstorm.
This is basically what makes the Weather Channel
Keep the Weather Channel on. Here at the Weather Channel.
The Weather Channel is out in full force today.
Only the Weather Channel.
Without the internet, I would probably be like a C student.
Internet Essentials from Comcast has brought low-cost, high-speed internet into the homes of hundreds of thousands of low-income families. It lets students do homework and study at home. So far, more than 2 million people across America have benefited.
Internet Essentials is going to transform the lives of families.
I see myself as maybe an entrepreneur.
Internet Essentials from Comcast, helping to bridge the digital divide.
From the very start, I wanted FitCore to be different. If you come to me, it's because you want to do what I do, because I don't do what other people do. It's kind of like creating a brand for myself.
Your business is unique. Your marketing should be too. With Vistaprint, it will be. Put your personal touch on 500 business cards starting at just $9.99. Just enter promo code TV500 at Vistaprint.com.
Stay true to yourself. You can do this how you want to do it, and somebody else is going to think that's awesome and want to do it that way too.
Vistaprint.com.
I don't know what that was. It felt huge. Don't move, man.
What's up with this weather, huh?
Today's weather? Well, I'd get things done this morning because we've got some big changes rolling through this afternoon. Jen Delgado, let's show her where these storms are coming from.
We'll be seeing some heavy rains this afternoon, possibly causing some flooding downtown. So the kids' soccer practice, well, likely it's going to be a wet one, Sam.
That should get you started on your day. So now back to you.
Back to me.
Sam Champion on the Weather Channel. Weather precise.
Currently in our area, 86 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, mostly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 87. Tonight, thunderstorms early, low 75. Chance of rain 40%. Monday, partly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 88. Here's our 7-day outlook.
We're back with Joe Bastardi. Quickly, before we get your winter sort of forecast, I wanted to get your thoughts, though, on this hurricane impact system or scale that you've talked about. So why do we need that?
Well, I think that it describes better the overall power of the storm. It's something I developed that incorporates barometric pressure into it. Basically, the argument is, okay, you have a storm with 115-mile-an-hour winds, but it may only be over a 10-mile wide area. What about the storm that has a pressure of 953 millibars or 946 like Sandy, where you had hurricane-force winds extended out 200 miles? What is the total power of that storm? It's like arguing the difference between who hits you harder, a fullback or a tailback.
Well, see, this is one area because they're in the second part of the show. We're doing 2 shows with Joe, and we'll probably get into some things we do disagree on. But this is an area where I completely agree with you. We've got to talk about the impacts of storms. We get too focused on it's a Category 3 or it's a Category 5. But now I want to pivot because I can't let you get off this show without getting your expertise and thoughts on the coming winter.
Right.
I mean, El Nino has been talked about as a factor. I often also look at the NAO and what's going on with those things as well. So what are your thoughts on the coming winter?
Well, first of all, I have this tie here, which is a snowflake tie.
I see the snowflakes. So if we can get a shot of that.
We believe that this is not an El Nino can be broad brushed.
Sure.
We use methodology where, in fact, 1919, 1920 is in the mix. I don't know how many forecasters are looking at that. Just like 2 years ago, we brought up 1718. And believe it or not, the hurricane season of 1917 was very similar to the one of 2013, and the error was a tool I used to get me to look back at 1718. But anyway, the sea surface temperatures are similar to that. We like to look at the difference in sea surface temperatures. So if you're warmer in one place and cooler in the other, let's take this ENSO event. It is visibly much cooler in the eastern Pacific than the central Pacific compared to 97.
Sure.
What does that mean about the winter convection that's going to go up? It'll be more back toward the date line, which in turn would force a trough further west, put the ridge up over western North America, jet coming underneath. So, our forecast is trying to reflect that and give our clients a big jump.
Well, so let's talk. And by the way, I love the fact you're talking about convection. We're getting into some real Walker circulation, Walker cell dynamics here. But we've got the December to February forecast up, and you can see it there on the monitors there. Talk us through what we're seeing here.
Well, we're expecting a southern and eastern winter, and in the eastern part of the United States, I think it's the second part of the winter is worse than the first part of the winter. What we've got to watch for, too, is typhoon activity in the western Pacific. Nuri was a signal in November was going to be cold. I should remember it recurved.
Oh, absolutely.
You get a typhoon recurving in November. It could throw off what should be a warm December. And these El Nino seasons love to be warm in December, then hit you later, right? So this is the kind of thing. And what we have,
winter forecast is up now.
This is percentage of snowfall. Where we had temperatures, percentage of snowfall. And so what happens is the areas from Texas to the mid-Atlantic states and into southern New England, we're looking at a tough winter again this year. I don't think it's as cold. What I fear, though, you got to watch where that ridge in western Canada winds up, because you see the U.S. generated miles trying to put it over eastern Canada. If it winds up in western Canada, cold air will find a way to win the day.
So given what you're talking about and your thoughts on this, are you suggesting that the West is going to be stuck in a sort of ridging drought?
I do not like this in the Pacific Northwest, British Columbia, and those places. Those people in dire straits out there. Drought,
wildfires, low snowpack.
Yeah, and you know, it's weird. It's interesting because we used to have a saying. In fact, a guy taught me this. He goes, look for where you see the fall trough, you'll find, fall ridge, winter trough, because of the feedback. Believe it or not, in September, you can believe the stuff we go through. When you have a cool July and August, warm September, generally January and February will look like July and August. It's amazing the stuff that goes on.
We've got to cut off show 1 right here, but next week we're going to get into another show with Joe Bastardi. It's been a pleasure to have you here, and we're join us next week because we're going to get into some really interesting thoughts on climate change.
What's that? I believe in climate change, okay?
We'll talk about it on the next show. Thank you so much for joining us on Weather Geeks. We've got a Twitter site, WX Geeks TWC, and we're also on Facebook. We'll see you next week on Weather Geeks.
Coughing, sniffling, and wishing you could stay in bed all day. When your cold is this bad, you need new Theraflu Express Max. Theraflu Express Max combines maximum strength medicines available without a prescription to fight your worst cold and flu symptoms, so you can feel better fast and get back to the job at hand. New Theraflu, the power to feel better.
Welcome to Fort Greene. Welcome to Castle Bravestorm. It's full of cool stuff like my trusty bow. And free of stuff I don't like. We only eat Chex cereal. No artificial flavors, and it's gluten-free. Mom, ride the ball in the house.
I tried Depend last weekend. It really made the difference between a morning around the house and getting a little exercise.
Only Depend underwear has new Confidence Core technology for fast absorption and the smooth, comfortable fit of FitFlex protection. Get a coupon at Depend.com.
Americans, 83% try to eat healthy, yet up to 90% fall short in getting key nutrients from food alone. Let's do more. Add one-a-day women's gummies, complete with key nutrients we may need, plus it supports bone health with calcium and vitamin D. One-a-day VitaCraves gummies.
Think your heartburn pill works fast? Take the Zantac It Challenge. Zantac works in as little as 30 minutes. Nexium can take 24 hours. When heartburn strikes, take Zantac for faster relief than Nexium or your money back. Take the Zantac It Challenge.
Flonase Allergy Relief Nasal Spray. This changes everything. Flonase is the 24-hour relief that outperforms the #1 non-drowsy allergy pill. When we breathe in allergens, our bodies react by overproducing 6 key inflammatory substances that cause our symptoms. Most allergy pills only control 1 substance. Flonase controls 6, and 6 is greater than 1. So go ahead, inhale life, excite your senses, seize the day and the night. Flonase, 6 is greater than 1. This changes everything.
Hurry in! Buy One, Take One is back. Tonight, enjoy breadsticks, salad, and your choice of entrees, like smoked mozzarella chicken. Then take home another entree for tomorrow free. It's 2 delicious nights of togetherness. Buy One, Take One, starting at $12.99 at Olive Garden.
All we need to sell Strongbow Hard Cider is ice. So sorry, Sir Patrick. You're fired.
Fired?
Yeah, fired.
How dare...
Strongbow!
If you're the band Europe, you love a final countdown. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
How to make an awesome weather science show. Take 3 scientists. That's us. The scientists. Yeah. They know that. Add the forces of nature.
That's hot stuff.
Mix in some crazy experiments.
Lit my hand on fire.
Why?
Because of science. Oh, that is so cool.
And then...
Go! Who said science isn't fun?
3 scientists walk into a bar. Bottoms Up October 4th on the Weather Channel. And join the community now on Facebook.com/3scientists.
Currently in our area, 86 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, mostly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 87. Tonight, thunderstorms early. Low 75. Chance of rain 40%. Monday, partly cloudy. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 88. Here's our 7-day outlook.
What's up with this weather, huh?
Today's weather? Well, I'd get things done this morning because we've got some big changes rolling through this afternoon. Jim Cantore has that.
Sam, this is fascinating. Rapidly rising warm, moist air creating this huge cumulonimbus cloud. Oftentimes, the results can be electrifying. Back to you, Sam.
Great job, Jim. That should get you started on your day. So now, back to you.
Back to me.
Sam Champion on the Weather Channel. Weather Precise.
I'm Mike Bettis. That's Sarah. Welcome to the set of a brand new show, Weather Underground. There'll be experts, bloggers, the smartest weather minds in the business on every screen you have 24 hours a day. Geeking out on what's happening in weather, how it happens, and why it's so freaking cool.
Weather Underground, weeknights at 6 on the Weather Channel.
They track the meanest, deadliest storms on Earth. Tornadoes, hurricanes, even ice storms. They're hardcore meteorologists who don't rely on high-tech gadgets, just a cell phone connection and a map. This ride is the ultimate fusion of science and adventure for meteorologist Simon Brewer and Justin Drake. Storm chasing isn't a hobby. Whoa!
Now you see this?
It's a way of life. Whoa, look at that flying through.
We got a guest with us today, Greg Forbes. Look at the size of that guy.
We've had to retreat into the car. Lightning bolts have been coming down.
Look over there.
We're in something. We don't know what.
Whoa!
Meteorologists Simon Brewer and Justin Drake are changing up their storm chasing routine by adding an up-and-coming meteorologist with a lot of promise to the team.
Hey, Greg.
Hello, Simon. Hello, Justin.
Nice seeing you.
Good seeing you. Yeah, we're on the Weather Channel. I'm known as Storm Master G.
For years, the guys have watched Dr. Greg Forbes on the Weather Channel.
So far, I'd give the month an A for good behavior in terms of severe thunderstorms.
During his distinguished career, he worked with the legendary Dr. Ted Fujita, the man the Fujita scale is named after. The Fujita scale rates a tornado's wind speed based on the damage it causes. Now, after years of forecasting tornadoes, Dr. Forbes is excited to see one up close. The meteorologists are spending the next 4 days together, storm chasing across the Midwest.
Hey, are you ready to have some good chase days?
Sure. You guys have done a lot more chasing than I have. Most of the time I'm spent in the studio, so I'm excited to, of course, to be out here and seeing the tornadoes.
I hope we can get Dr. Forbes up close and personal with a large photogenic tornado without getting in too much danger. Give him